Alright, so welcome into today's video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the all-new Storm DNA Coil, but before we do, just a big shout out to Storm, I Am Bowling, and Vice Inserts for their continued support. Obviously videos like this will not be possible without their support, so I'm very, very grateful, and I encourage each and every one of you to head on over and support these brands that allow me to do what I'm able to do. And if you want 20% off of your next I Am Bowling apparel order, you can use promo code Firehouse07. It's also down in the description below, and you can save yourself 20% off of your next apparel order. Also, another great thing you can do for the channel is just to subscribe down below. It's completely free, and you can unsubscribe at any time. Alright, so next thing we'll do is we'll kind of explore the DNA coil a little bit here. We'll talk about the layout as you kind of see me punching this up here. So the layout that I put on this coil is 4x4 by 1.5. This is a fairly common layout that I use for kind of a little bit more spinny league bowlers that I'll put in like an asymmetric pearl like this, put this layout in it, and it rolls really, really well for them. So I figured, hey, might as well kind of drill that for me and see how it rolls for me going down the lane. So now that you saw the ball being drilled and the layout of the ball, let's talk a little bit more about the ball as you see it go down the lane. So this is the DNA coil. It's going to be released March 15th of 2024. It comes out of box at Reactogloss, and it has a fragrance of orange pineapple slush. It does smell pretty good. So the cover stock that is on this ball is the Exo Pearl cover stock. It is a pearl. This is the second time that this cover has ever been used. The first was the Code Supreme, I believe. And then inside there we have the Super Coil core. This does not feature AI core. I was a little surprised when I saw that it didn't feature AI, but you know, there's probably something with the RG and the diff, you know, which is the reason probably why they didn't use that. But inside we have the Super Coil core. It was only used twice, obviously, in the DNA line, which was the DNA Coil and the original DNA. This comes in 15 pounds with an RG of 247, differential of 053, and a mass bias of 023, which kind of says that this is a fairly asymmetric piece that you're throwing here. So a couple more shots with the DNA coil, and then we'll get into some of the comparison balls. So first of all, we're comparing this coil to is the regular Storm Absolute. This was released in January of 2023. It has a fragrance of orange cream soda. Comes out of box at Reactogloss. The cover on this is R2S Deep Hybrid cover stock. This is the second time that it's ever been used. The first time was the Starlock, which was an overseas release, and again, this is a hybrid ball. The core in this is the Sentinel core. This was the second time that it was, or I'm sorry, this was the first time it was ever used. It's been used twice. Obviously, the second time is the Absolute Power. The RG is 248, differential of 050, and a mass bias of 021, so it is fairly asymmetric, just not as asymmetric as the coil. I would say shape-wise, they're a little bit similar, and you know, I have similar type layouts on both of these balls. I believe the Absolute, I have 4x4x2 on this. Reason being, the first Absolute that I got did not roll well at all. Wasn't very dynamic. So I figured when I got this ball, I was going to make sure that it was going to flare. I was going to make sure that it was going to be fairly dynamic, and punch this one up in that 4x4x2, and it rolls really, really well. Only difference I would say really between the two balls is the fact that, you know, the DNA coil is just a little bit stronger. Absolute is a little bit more challenged by, you know, some carry down that's kind of through the middle part of the lane. So the second and last ball that we're going to be comparing the coil to is the Virtual Energy Blackout, commonly known as the Vibo. The Vibo was released in September of 2023, comes out of box at Reactagloss. This comes with the REX Pearl cover stock on there. REX has been used quite a few times, 6 times it looks like. First time was the Dark Code, and obviously again the last time was the Vibo here. This comes with the Sentinel Lock HD core. This core has been used a lot, and when I say a lot, I mean a lot. Like, I have to scroll through the page to see how many times it's been used, but the first time it was ever used was with the Gravity Shift that was introduced in February of 2008. The RG is 248, differential of 0.52 with a mass bias of 0.20. So technically this is the least asymmetric core of the 3 balls here, but honestly probably the most dynamic. And when I say dynamic, I mean that, you know, this ball has a lot of shape to it. It does a lot of cool things, quote unquote, down the lane. It just really hooks a lot more, and I think you could see that with the first couple shots. I stood in the same spot for the first ball as I did where I stood with the Absolute on the last ball, so you can see that it does hook a fair amount more. You know, like I said, it's a lot more dynamic. That REX cover stock that comes on this ball is quite a bit stronger than the R2S deep cover stock that comes on the Absolute. So this last game here with the coil, you're going to see me move around a little bit with the coil. We're going to throw a couple shots from in, couple shots out, and you guys will be able to kind of see what it looks like as far as versatility with this ball. But I'm going to tell you kind of what I think about the ball. I think it's a home run. I think it's a winner. I think it's a really, really good ace and pearl, something that might actually come with me to Nationals. However, I'm still kind of working out the kinks with my Nationals arsenal, but it might certainly come with me. Who is it for? Well, I think it's really anybody that's looking for an ace and pearl. I think it might not necessarily replace the Vibo. I think the Vibo is just a lot more dynamic, like I said. You know, I'm sure maybe if I lay out the coil a little bit differently, it'll look a little bit more like the Vibo. However, I think there's certainly enough of a difference between the Vibo and the coil that these things don't really overlap that well. But it's a great ball. How long do I think it's going to be out? I think this is probably about a 1.5 year kind of shelf life on this ball. You know, they might come out with something in maybe like 6 months to 9 months that kind of overlaps with the coil a little bit. But I would say about a 1.5 years is probably how long you can expect this coil to be out on shelves. So enjoy the last couple shots here, and until the next video, guys, good luck and good bowling.